again, it's difficult to explain, and I'm sure you can appreciate that. We're so grateful that so many of our kids got out of there alive, but yet so heartbroken that some of them didn't make it. And we're thinking of the 25 who were injured as well. And families are just mourning in their own way. Everybody has their own way of expressing remorse and grief, and we give them their comfort zone.
Tumbler Ridge Fellowship Baptist Church Pastor George Rowe there speaking to CTV News this afternoon following the mass shooting at a community school. A teacher and 5 students were murdered. At least 25 others, as you heard the pastor reference, were injured. With me now to talk a little bit more about how the province is dealing with this is former British Columbia Premier Christy Clark. Hi, Christy. Wish we were seeing you under different circumstances. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
As you saw news of this surface, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Pardon me.
No, I was just going to say it's a terrible reason for something for us to have to talk about on television, but it's a terrible thing that's happened. It's a black day for British Columbia and for Canada. Tumbler Ridge is a very small town, 2,500 people. It's had its ups and downs over the years. It was a planned community, so the provincial government kind of got it going in the early 80s because it's a coal mining town. And over that period of time, it's had its ups and downs. It's because coal prices have gone up and down. And there's one period where they lost half their population, and they've grown again. And it's one of those towns that's typical, very small, resource-based town. They are resilient people. It is very hard, though, to imagine, no matter how resilient the town may be, how people are coping up in Tumbler Ridge today. This is just an absolutely terrible moment for our whole country today.
Yeah, it feels like a level of resilience that is almost like impossible to meet. Particularly, as one of the parents, or if your kid was in that school and, quote unquote, lucky enough to survive, like that's just a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, Vashi, we all send our kids to school every day, and we always believe in our bedrock that our kids are going to come home safe every day. And I think in a small town like Tumbler Ridge, where literally everybody knows everybody else, and many of the families are intermarried, and it's a very young community by BC standards. I think about 20% of the population is under 18, which is, for us here, quite young. It's just an unthinkable outcome. And a lot of people move to towns like Tumbler Ridge because they know it's going to be safe, that their kids can walk home, bike home from school, and spend summers at the lake or in the mountains and come home safe every night. And my heart just goes out to everybody in that community who's dealing with that today, because not only for all those people who haven't lost somebody, they know someone who has, and it fundamentally must shake their belief in everything that they've come to believe is good about the world today.
Well, I was just also thinking, given how the size of the community, the way in which you describe it, and everyone else we've interviewed, for example, who's from that community, how you just know everybody there. It's not as though this would feel distant in any way. How much, anything like this would be incredibly difficult to confront, but the permanence almost of what this does to that community, it feels overwhelming too.
Yeah, because those children are lost forever. And the ones who were in the school are traumatized for decades afterwards. All of those families will be living with a sense for a while of insecurity. But the thing is, I do know about this small town and small towns like it across BC and across the country, is that people learn to look after each other, and they really know how to lean on one another. And so it's very hard to think about what comes next right now, but I'm hopeful and confident that there are people up there who've been through a lot. Life's been hard. Life hasn't always been easy, and nobody up there expects the world to just always be easy. And so I think that resilience will serve people well over the longer term. And I hope people find a way to heal from this. Can I just take a minute to CIBC has set up an emergency relief fund, and I really want to encourage everyone in the country to maybe make a donation to that. I think they donated $100,000 just to get it started, and it's a great way to support people up there in that community without a whole lot of without the money going to pay the fundraisers for it. CIBC will be donating all that money to the people in the community, and it's a small thing to do, but I think for people up there it will mean a lot.
I appreciate you making mention of that. Just before I let you go, I did want to ask, I have interviewed 2 different politicians in the past half hour, both of whom said that the government at the federal level and the provincial level are, working very well with them, that, the comments made on Parliament Hill today were incredibly genuine from every politician and political leader who spoke. What does that tell you?
I think that we're all human beings. So, we disagree with each other, and we fight about stuff, and we have different ideas about where the country should go. But I think all of us know what it is to love your family, and we all know what it is to send your kids to school and believe they'll come home safe. And we all know that we're still people, and we all want everybody in this country to be able to feel like they can go to bed safe, and that they'll wake up and their lives will continue uninterrupted, and their families will continue to live long lives. I think we all want that for each other. And when you see what happened in the House of Commons and in parliaments across the country today, I think we all are reminded of our own humanity. And in this era where we're exposed to so much anger all the time, maybe these terrible moments of sadness can at least remind us what we share in common.
I'll leave it on that note. Thanks, Christy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.